Hi all, good afternoon. Welcome to the brand new episode of Winner Brands Live Masterclass, powered by Winner Brands Academy. I am Ashar, one of the co-founders of Winner Brands, India's first dedicated platform connecting businesses and brands to top marketing experts. So we are a platform curating India's top marketing experts and building a community itself of practicing and aspiring marketers. At Winner Brands, we have access to various work engagements regularly available to our community of marketers and agency experts, whether it's a critical problem faced by an established brand or even a growth-oriented startup trying to find that expert who will strategize and execute their marketing or business goals. So please do register yourself on Winner Brands community if you wish to hear back from us on any of these work assignments that might be right up your alley. Winner Brands Academy is part of our learning initiatives at Winner Brands, where we handpick topics based on various marketing-led issues and challenges faced by these businesses, and also try to have workshops structured to help you learn a critical marketing skill also. All our learning properties are conceptualized and delivered by marketing practitioners. Basically, whatever you learn from us can be executed at your workplace or that campaign you're planning to do. It's also useful for aspiring marketers or students coming from any academic background if they wish to learn what marketing is all about. So please refer to the active link available on the chat box. So I'm just going to send across a couple of links for you folks. You can easily, just refer it and register yourself as well. Today, we are starting our first live masterclass, as I mentioned, where you learn from Mr. Lakshmipati Bhatt, who is an ad veteran, coming from his rich experience in both the traditional and digital marketing ecosystems. He has actually worked with ad giants like FCB, Ulka, Grey, and have also set up a few of their South Asia offices throughout his career. The list of brands, if I just start talking, will be endless. So really don't wish to go that route. However, I certainly wish to highlight that the people who have worked and learned from him are very well established in various marketing positions around the globe. So do listen to him patiently and take out your pen and paper to get those important notes. He writes on advertising in his blog, But Naturally, that you can follow, and various other industry journals. I'm sure a few of his articles are popular across many mediums. If you guys are active on LinkedIn, you might have noticed it as well. So over to you, Lakshmi, handing over the mic and kickstart the masterclass. Thank you. You all can keep bringing your questions coming. You actually have a feature on the right side of your window where you could keep throwing it up. If it's the same question shared by somebody else, do upvote it as well, actually, so we can address it towards the end of the session. Over to you, and thanks a lot again for joining, guys, on this Saturday afternoon. Thank you.
Right. Thanks, Ashar. Namaste and hi, everyone. Thank you for taking time out to register and attend this session. A brief context to why we are here. I had taken a session for some B school students in Bangalore sometime last year on advertising in the digital world, and I had shared that on LinkedIn, and the team at Winner Brands asked me to share the same deck with this group of people. But since you're all experienced marketing folks, as I understand, I have tweaked the deck a bit, with the essence being the same. Whatever you see out here, whatever you hear in this session is not blindingly new stuff. It is all the basics, but it's sometimes worthwhile revisiting the basics, and hopefully we'll all learn together. So with that, I will cut my video and share my screen, and I will start with the most impactful opening line in today's times, which is my screen visible? I think so. Yes. Okay, let's start. So as I said, the theme is new advertising is old at heart, and it broadly talks about advertising in the digital world. And we all know that we live in a digital world. So I don't need to emphasize that any further. What I'm going to do is to start with, a quick quiz. Can you all name a few recently launched, and when I say recently launched, 5 to 10 years, brands or services which you think are successful, and success defined as salience, market share, revenue, or bringing about change in behavior or mindset in the last few years. So I will wait for some entries on the chat box. So somebody said Zerodha, that's great. Anything else that come to your mind? Cred, yes, that's a good example. Zomato, Swiggy, yep. Yeah, somebody said Swiggy again. Yeah, so Rev, yeah, okay, that auto writing. Uber, okay. I wasn't too sure about the launch date. Yeah, I guess that would also fall into that time span. Yeah, so that's the kind of brand names that come to mind, and I too have put down some brand names here, and I could think of Unacademy, Swiggy, Nykaa, OnePlus, AirPods, Zomato, Dunzo, Swachh Bharat as a movement, mutual funds, and so on and so forth. And and they are successful for several reasons and different reasons. But if one were to look at what is common to all of these, both from a brand and a consumer point of view, I could list down these things. Number one, firstly, they were fulfilling a latent or overt consumer need. Unless the need existed, they wouldn't be launching. Now, in that context, during the last 1 year or so post-COVID, you would have seen a lot of people launching a lot of brands which they were not part of. For example, a beauty brand would launch a hand sanitizer because there was a consumer need. Okay, some were opportunistic and launched COVID-resistant shirts too, but that's another story altogether. But they started off with fulfilling a latent or overt consumer need first. Then there was a product market fit, which we all have seen in startup community. Thirdly, they delivered a good product or service experience or a belief in the benefit. For example, there was no service or product in the case of Clean India, but that concept of a clean India is something that most of us would buy into and want a clean India. So there was a belief there. So if you notice, the top three have not even started off with any advertising or marketing as the reasons. Okay, then comes a story which makes the product or service relatable or desirable, and then of course the consistency of experience and messaging. So in that context, a gentle reminder from the 1990s. So when we speak of marketing, communications, or advertising, it is very clear that despite what some people think, advertising can't make you buy something you don't need. Or as the famous saying goes, good advertising kills a bad product fast. Okay, so with this background, if we ask ourselves, have those brands that you all mentioned, Zerodha or Swiggy, Cred, and the other brands that you saw on that slide over there, have they done anything in the marketing and communication domain or space that was never before or seen first time ever? I don't think so. I mean, unless there are some contra views, what have they done drastically different from the brands of the previous decades, like say a Ponds or Surf, etc., that was never seen before? Would there be anything that comes to mind? Right. I also advertising themselves better. Well, that even the brands in the earlier direct interaction with consumers through social media. Yes, okay, fair enough. There was a concept of direct response advertising earlier too, right? When people could connect with consumers, through direct mail and so on and so forth, direct response and so on and so forth. Businesses are coming online. Yes, that's a big change. Okay, but in terms of practices or processes related to marketing and advertising, have they done anything which is never seen before? I personally don't think so. But the industry chorus seems to be that advertising is dead, and everything has changed, and so on and so forth. At least there was a qualifier in some article saying advertising as we know it is dead. Okay, there's even a popular podcast, with due credit, I guess they are trying to convey that, look, advertising as we know it is dead. But the general chorus is to say that everything has changed in the digital world when it comes to marketing and advertising. Why is that so? There is a shiny new toy syndrome, in a sense that when somebody as you keep reading about a new technology, for example, blockchain or artificial intelligence or augmented reality, there are column spaces devoted to saying that this is going to be the trend that is going to take over advertising. So everybody says that AI is the future, and AR is the future, and VR is the future, and so on and so forth. Okay, but that does not mean that it is going to replace advertising as we know it. It could be, there could be some hype around the next best thing, but it is not going to destroy advertising. Okay, that's my view. So in that context, revisiting the basics helps, starting with what's a brand. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, none of all this is rocket science or unheard of. I am only sharing or putting in perspective what we all already know. So what's a brand? Among the examples or among the definitions that I have come across, which I found interesting, was this one from Seth Godin, who says, a brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that, taken together, account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. That's important. If the consumer, whether it's a business, a buyer, a voter, or a donor, doesn't pay a premium, make a selection, or spread the word, then no brand value exists for that consumer. I thought this sums up, what a brand is all about very well. Though it's a bit verbose, it covers all the aspects. There is a very well-known planner in advertising called Jeremy Bullmore, who is considered the father of strategic planning, who was part of the WPP governing council on the board, I think, on WPP, who said, people build brands as birds build nests from scraps and straws we chance upon. Now think about it. We all form impressions about various brands that we interact with. It could be a Swiggy, it could be an Academy, it could be Cred. And if you were to pause for a minute and, if I just mention the word Cred, what are the associations that come to your mind? Okay, great. Kunal Shah, because he's the founder. Okay, then what else? They add Rahul Dravid. Yes, okay. What else? Right. So it could be different for good one. Right. So it could be different for different people. Arrogance is also one aspect of the brand that probably emanates from the founder. I don't know. Okay. Great user interface. Yes. But if you notice that advertising did not talk about how great an interface is, or we are an arrogant brand, etc. But consumers have picked up these things like irrelevant advertising and great user interface and arrogance and so on, right? So those are scraps that we pick up, as Jeremy Bullmore said. And he also goes on to qualify that however carefully those clues are laid out, it is rare that any consumer would follow a linear path from one to the other. Now, this is important. Okay, we may say that consumers should think of us as a cool brand, as an innovative brand, etc., or a premium brand. But if the product does not deliver, or if the communication does not meet those premium cues, the consumer may not pick up those cues. Okay, and therefore random other associations are picked up. In my view, a nice short summation of what a brand is this one, which says a brand is a collection of thoughts and feelings in the mind of the consumer, and it applies to even a personal brand. That is a buzzword that is there. Personal brand, you could take a celebrity. It could be a Salman Khan, it could be anybody else. And there are a collection of thoughts and feelings in the mind of the consumer. How are these thoughts and feelings formed, or how are they driven by? In my view, there are three things that play a critical role. One is the product experience, second is the communication experience, and third is word of mouth. The product experience is clear. I mean, for example, if when things ease out, and if you want to plan for travel and you want to go and stay in a well-known 5-star hotel, Taj or an Oberoi, you expect a certain level of service from them. Okay, certain expect of luxury from them. So there is an expectation. So they have to fulfill that. Their communication experience, when you book through their website, or when you look at their advertising on social media or the TV spot, it should also convey premiumness. So that also is important. And word of mouth also plays a role. If somebody comes and recommends to you that, hey, between Taj and Oberoi, Oberoi is better, but I've stayed there and it's a great experience. Word of mouth plays a role. So, and if you look at any purchase that we make, these three facets come into play, whether it is choice of a career in terms of a company to work with, or a brand, a mobile phone to buy, or or a fashion brand. So these aspects have not changed, be it in the past decades or now. So the summation is that the fundamental principles of marketing and communication have and will remain the same forever. Why? Because the fundamental motivations of humans will remain the same forever. And you all must be familiar with Bill Bernbach, who is an advertising legend and founder of DDB. He put it very well. He said, it's fashionable to talk about changing man. A communicator must be concerned with unchanging man, with his obsessive drive to survive, to be admired, to succeed, to love, to take care of his own. So that was how we put it. And this is something which will be timeless, whether it is the 1970s or 2020s. Another favorite quote of mine is from the gentleman called Howard Gossage, who was in the 1950s. Imagine, in 1950s, he said this. He said, nobody reads ads. People read what interests them. Sometimes it's an ad. I thought it was a brilliant summation of what our business of marketing and advertising is all about. Now, if you were to extrapolate that into today's context, you could say people read, watch, or listen to what interests them. For example, this particular presentation, you would not be listening to the session or signing up for the session if it did not interest you. Right? Or you would not be watching a video of something viral on YouTube or Instagram, or read a blog or listen to a podcast or even laugh at a social media post if it did not interest you. So that's a timeless truth that will remain true forever. So the bottom line is, find a way to say relevant things in a compelling way at the right time on the right platform. So those are the four key aspects: relevance, compelling, right time, which is the context, and the right platform. And it could, if you were to think about it, it could apply to several things in our life. For example, I have the habit of not keeping the mobile phone next to my bedside. And when I wake up, and after a while, when I look at the notifications, I will see some message from my bank saying that XYZ credit happened, and the message would come at 3 in the morning. And I look at the timestamp and say, why would they send me this message at 3 in the morning? Right? So it is not just about advertising; it's about context of any brand communication. So in that context, let me share a topical ad that ran in 2010 when Obama took office. This is a bit of a tongue-in-cheek ad, risque as they say in French, and the ad said, "Goodbye Bush," and the ad was from wheat, which is a depilator. Okay, now this ran in Australia, where probably such kind of bordering on what shall I say, sensationalism perhaps would work. Okay, and brings out a smile. Okay, and and the famous moment marketing of 2013, when Oreo did this power out, no problem, because during the Super Bowl telecast, the power went off at the stadium, and everything went dark. So they said you can still dunk in the dark, and that became a big meme in 2013. And this is supposed to have set the trend of moment marketing. Now, in 2010 in the UK, when there was a new cabinet, S.E. Johnson released an ad for a spray, which is a protector for wood finishing, and it said, "For the new cabinet." That's again a pun. And then we're all familiar with this one, right? Any of you who've not seen this? Unlikely, right? So you all would have seen this Fevicol ad, right? So essentially, the topical advertising which took news of the day and linked it to the brand is what we see as top moment marketing today in the digital world. And let me show a product demo ad. Product demo is a common concept in advertising, and this is from the 1980s.
Nobody's better in cold than all temperature cheer.
So that was classic PNG ad, TV spot demonstrating the effectiveness of the product and conveying the benefit, not just the feature. Now, and we are all familiar with this product demo in 2010. I'm not going to play the video. This is just a screenshot. I'm sure you all have seen this epic split. If you have not, please search for it on YouTube. It's Volvo Trucks' video which wanted to convey the stability of the trucks, and they had Van Damme, who is known for his stunts, with his legs spread out between two trucks, and the trucks driving in a straight line to convey how steady they were. And as you can see, 11 crore plus views, etc. And Volvo has taken on this tradition of product demos through YouTube and viral videos since then. Now, we all talk of Instagram campaigns and, great visual campaigns on Instagram, great food shots, great, the skincare brands and beauty brands, fashion brands, all use Instagram. Let's go back to the 80s. Araldite is a Fevicol-like, adhesive brand, and they actually stuck a car onto a hoarding. And there was another line, tongue-in-cheek, which says, it also sticks handles to teapots. So the idea subliminally cueing that if it can, and that's the real need, when your teapots break, the handle breaks, and it can fix that. And if it can fix a car onto a hoarding, it can easily fix a broken teapot. And a week later, they still had that car, and people were wondering what the hell it was, and says the suspense continues. A week after that, they added another car on top of that and said the tension mounts. So all this was wordplay. And a week after that, they yanked off both the cars and said, how did we pull it off? So this was a talk of the town in the in the media, trade media over there. Even now, people refer to it as a great campaign and great use of outdoor. Now, that was one visual-led campaign of the 1980s. Now, if you were to cut to 2016, I will play a case video of a billboard that uses technology.
Os quipés egípcios têm essa capacidade de causar a morte mesmo no primeiro episódio. A questão do mosquito é que ele é, na verdade, um bioterrorista alado. Ele tem condições de carregar vários vírus, o Zika vírus, chikungunya, febre amarela, maiarovírus e outros vírus que ele pode carregar. É uma doença que vem causando grande impacto para a saúde pública do Brasil e vai ganhar o mundo se nada for feito.
Introducing the Mosquito Killer Billboard. A billboard powered with a technology that attracts and kills the Aedes aegypti mosquito. This is how it works. A device that sprays in the air a lactic acid solution mixed with CO2, reproducing human odor, sweat, and breath. The combination of these two substances attracts mosquitoes from a distance of up to 2.5 kilometers. Fluorescent lights increase this attraction, making it easier for the insect to approach the trap. As the Aedes fly around 4 feet high, we've installed the capture mechanism in the base of the display. The mosquitoes that are captured by the device get stuck inside the display until they die dehydrated. The entire project and technology was made available in a website under the Creative Commons Agreement, so any city in Brazil or around the world can replicate it for their own good.
Right, so that combined the elements of traditional outdoor and technology for the digital world. And also I will talk about how such acts help in PR. So some fundamental truths, when it comes to marketing and advertising. One is that no substitute for deep understanding of the consumer's ever-evolving pain points and aspirations. As we all see today, sessions like this are possible because we have been forced into work from home kind of situations. People have adapted, enterprises have adapted. We've all are into Zoom calls and so on and so forth. So our needs and aspirations and pain points are changing, and brands adapt. For me, a good example of that is Dove, who initially had 1 quarter cleansing cream as their original positioning, and they had cute copy like "I am head over heels in Dove," and focused on features such as mildness instead of benefit for several decades until they created the famous Evolution campaign. Again, I'm not going to play the video. I'm sure you all are familiar with this, where the essence of it was that there is a false sense of beauty that is being portrayed by the beauty industry, excessive photoshopping, hiding within quotes any blemishes, and so on and so forth. So creating a false sense of beauty among women, especially the younger generation, and therefore they launched this campaign for real beauty. So which is a huge success, and talked about in the marketing world. The second example that I can think of is Victoria's Secret, the lingerie brand. Okay, recently they took a call saying that they will not hold any ramp walks which were the event through which they launched their new line of lingerie. Now they had to abandon this idea because the world over they've come to realize that having such events is objectifying women, and it is not the right thing to do in this world. So they change their ways. So that is the truth of any brand that has grown successfully over the last few decades. Second fundamental truth is that communication based on a true insight is likely to find a stronger resonance. Now, the natural question is, what is an insight? Now, among the various definitions that I've seen, I have found this to be useful. Mark Pollard, who's a planner, who said, an unspoken human truth that sheds new light on the problem you are trying to solve. Typically, when we see an ad with a strong insight, we as consumers would see that and say, yeah, I agree with that. I can empathize with that. For example, I remember seeing an ad many years ago for a suitcase brand where it showed a man rushing in an airport with an overflowing suitcase in his hand and a pair of chappals in his other hand. So that conveys that he is finished packing, but he's forgotten to pack his chappals. Then he realized it. Then he found that there's no space to put the chappal in his hand in the suitcase, and then he tried to carry it in his hand, and then the ad goes on to talk about a suitcase with more extra large space. So anyway, that's the kind of situation when we spot an insight. Now, in that context, an insight that we all can relate to is this one, which says, in between meal hunger makes us irritable and act out of character. If we've had an early breakfast, let's say, and we're around 11 o'clock, 11:30, lunch is still an hour away, you're irritable, you're likely to be shout at others and be nasty perhaps. And Snickers utilized that and said, you're not you when you're hungry, in the advertising, and said you are acting out of character. Again, I'm not going to play any ads. You may have seen the ads where people behave like divas when they're hungry. I think they had in India actresses like Rekha or I think even Dhoni in their advertising, and that is a very famous campaign driven by universal insight. And how do they take forward in media? For example, here they put these stickers where you can see the obvious mistake that the carpenter has made. How would you lock that door? You can't, there's no space to use the key. So you make mistakes when you're hungry. So there are hungry mistakes. What's the sticker over there? Now, is this, is that handle meant to go up or down? It's not clear because he's in a hurry. When he's hungry, he's made that mistake. There's a sticker says enter here and do not enter, and the Snickers sticker is over there. So this is how they take that idea forward across medium. And in UK, when they had to launch this idea of you're not you when you're hungry and you're acting out of character, they used Twitter very interestingly. Here's the case study.
One quiet Sunday afternoon, we asked a celebrity to send 5 short tweets. 3 days later, they were mentioned in Parliament.
It's come to something when Katie Price's tweets make more sense on the economy than the Labour front bench.
We've been asked to launch Snickers' global campaign, You're Not You When You're Hungry, in the UK. Instead of TV, we decided to use Twitter. We asked 5 celebrities to tweet out of character. Katie Price, famous for her modelling, tweeted about macroeconomics. was surprised and responded immediately. One tweet was retweeted 1,400 times. Even the BBC's economics correspondent joined in. Then the final tweet revealed the campaign endline. National newspapers reported the story. Then England footballer Rio Ferdinand tweeted about his new hobby, knitting. Once again, these out-of-character tweets provoked a huge response. Twitter had never been used like this. There were complaints, but in a landmark ruling, the Advertising Standards Authority cleared Snickers. And a campaign of just 25 tweets ended up reaching 26 million people. Online, in newspapers, on TV, on radio, and in Parliament.
I think that was a great use of medium and linked back to the brand property. So third fundamental truth is that you have to exploit a medium or platform to its advantage. We just saw an example, how they used Twitter to link back to the brand promise, and that this principle applies to print or radio or outdoor or digital. This is from 1907 when explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton wanted people to join his expedition to the Antarctic. And he put out a classified ad which said, men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in case of success, Ernest Shackleton. Now, this is perhaps the original tweet. 140 characters or 280 characters or God knows what it was. But I'm saying how succinctly conveyed what he wanted to convey and ensured that only the daring, intrepid folks join his journey because he promised nothing except for honor and recognition, but said there is danger and safe return doubtful. So this was brilliant. Okay, and recently BBC put out an outdoor for the show Dracula, which looked like this in the morning. Now it looks pretty innocuous, and there are cues of probably those knives which are stuck on the billboard and blood dripping and stuff like that. But in the night, because of the way those sticks are placed and the lighting, it casted a shadow of Dracula, who known to come out at night. So again, this was something that uses the outdoor medium very cleverly, gets PR free of cost across media, and gets talked about in sessions like this. So this is great use of the medium. This one is from the Copenhagen Zoo, where all it took was a vinyl wraparound on a bus, and this would be showstopper on any street, right? Imagine this bus on a busy street in a city, and this would be a showstopper. And it talked about the wildest place in town, the Copenhagen Zoo. Now, I don't know whether any of you have heard of this brand called Blendtec. Blendtec is a blender. It's like a mixer grinder, and it grinds your everyday things like your fruit and pulp and greens and stuff like that. Okay, now the background to this is that they had a marketing manager who joined them and found that the MD of the company, who's a inventor, scientist background, tested the toughness of the blender by actually blending blocks of wood. That gave him an idea. He said, no, if the blender can blend a block of wood, obviously it can blend the fruits and other things, right? And it talks about how sturdy it is. So with a few $100s, he produced a video which showed how it blended various things into pulp, and originally some viral videos of how it blended iPhones into dust became very popular on YouTube. And they use the medium by asking people to suggest what the brand could blend next. Somebody would suggest a golf ball. Somebody suggested Justin Bieber, just for fun's sake. Okay, and as you can see over there, 2 years ago they blended an Amazon Echo, and they recently cued the work from home scenario and had this video up, which I will play next.
Hi, it's Tom, and I figured out how to do Will It Blend from home. I have my own podcast equipment, and I'm ready to go. I'm so excited for the iPhone 12 that I'm going to go ahead and blend my iPhone 11. Oh, come on, guys. Cool your jets. Poppy's trying to do a Will It Blend. Oh, this is not going to work. I'm going back to the studio. It's good to be back on the set. Trying to do a Will It Blend from home is almost impossible. So today I'm going to blend my podcast microphone. I think I'm going to press the record button. Woo, smells like 2020. Oh, it's good to be back, and there's more Will It Blend on the way.
That was fun, wasn't it? It blended, no pun intended, work from home cues, kids shouting, throwing things, puns like that smelled like 2020 being a bad year, stuff like that. Now, do they do the same kind of experiments on other platforms? No. On Instagram, they use the Instagram platform's cues of great visual, photography and so on and so forth, and share recipes, mouth-watering photography. So they use the platform well to cue what they want to convey at the right medium. Print, as we all know, is a lean forward medium, which means that when we are interested, we kind of lean forward and want to read more about, it could be an article, it could be an ad. The medium has high credibility. We associate credibility with news. It is versatile. It can accommodate long copy ads. It has visual impact. It can have wordplay. It can be charming, print ad. Allows for target segmentation and, of course, topical ads. Now, this is from the 90s to convey speed for Porsche. It says it's about as fast as you can go without having to eat airline food. Brilliant, humor. So it brings a smile. Then there is, imagine if you're a smoker and you're reading The Sun in the UK, and the ad says, "Dad, I know you read The Sun, so I thought it would be a good place to say, stop smoking or you might die. And I don't want you to die." Now, would a father not feel emotional after reading this? And you're targeting him so smartly using a print ad. Recently, some of you may be familiar, Starbucks is known, and there are a lot of jokes around how they mispronounce people's names. When I go with a name like Lakshmipati, I will not say I will give name like David or Ravi or something like that. Even then they will mispronounce or misspell it on the cup. So thank you for wearing a mask in store, and they've got a misspelled name over there. Even that they got it wrong, right? So an outdoor, if you were to look back as a consumer, is a reminder medium, and of course we don't step out much nowadays. But when we do, when we take the route to the office, and if we keep on seeing a particular outdoor hoarding every day or every week, it's a reminder. It's a fleeting medium because we hardly get a few seconds when we drive past it. So therefore, short messages, visual impact, and local impact is great. And this is an example. Hot Wheels. It's a reverse situation, as it were. Instead of us looking at toy cars, the Hot Wheels, model is looking us, the real cars, as the toy car. So this is a great use of the outdoor medium. Another example here.
JC Deco, the largest outdoor advertising corporation in the world, gives presentations to inform clients about the possibilities of outdoor advertising. The theme for this year was, even in these modern times, outdoor is still a very effective medium. Every year, we struggle with the same issue. Belgium's leading marketing directors never have the time to attend our presentations. What did we do to convince them? Meet JC Deco's personal billboards. Without asking their permission, we put a photo of each marketing director on a single billboard along with their name and an email address at JC Deco. Then we waited. A few hours later. Actually, I'm really not amused. People are calling me, sending me texts and emails. What is this about? There's this one billboard on Avenue Mozart that's been grabbing my attention all afternoon. What's the purpose? Else, I'll give you a call later today. I saw a billboard of myself and I suspect you're behind this. It's the talk of the town, and I think you and I need a proper chat as well. We had them exactly where we wanted, and we responded with this email. Sorry if we scared you. We just wanted you to experience the effectiveness of outdoor advertising. As you said it yourself, you got so many reactions from only one single billboard. Just imagine what our entire network could do for your brand. Then we invited them to sign up for our presentation. And why wouldn't they free up some of their time now? After all, they experienced the effectiveness of outdoor advertising for themselves.
En tout cas, pour ce qui concerne, c'était 100% réussi avec un call to action tout à fait efficace.
Chapeau pour l'idée créative, c'est vraiment impactant.
So, every single one of them booked a presentation, and we reached a response of 100%. Talk about effectiveness.
Right. So I don't know whether every brand can pull this off, putting people's photos without their permission. But JC Deco is a well-known brand in outdoor among that community, and they could probably get away with it. But it was an interesting way of showing how outdoor works using outdoor. Radio is relatively inexpensive to produce. A film could cost crores, for example, in production. Radio, not so much. And if you many brands approach the radio station themselves for the RJs to record these spots to save costs, which are pretty bad in any case. But they are inexpensive, and they also offer quick turnaround times, have local impact, and the audio and effects can create a mood and even emotions too. Here is an example of how effectively radio was used to deter people from using a phone while driving in the UK.
You're 4 times more likely to have a crash when you're on a mobile phone. You're 4 times more likely to have a crash when you're on a mobile phone. You're 4 times more likely to have a crash when you're on a mobile phone. It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at the same time. From December the 1st, it'll be illegal to use a handheld mobile phone when driving. Think. Now, switch it off before you drive.
Now imagine listening to the spot when you're driving. That overlapping of voices has your attention, and you're straining to figure out what they're saying, and then the message drives home, hits home. Television is, as we all know, as audio video impact, so therefore it stirs emotions. It can evoke laughter, fear, or even tears. Let me share one spot, a popular spot from P&G for Tide.
So tell me about yourself.
Well, an organized person, somebody who does not need details. I'm actually very, very good with groups. I surpassed all my goals, my previous position, my prior job, the competitor. All my personality have surpassed their own goals.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, we've all been in situations where we have a stain, and and when we notice that, and we forget about the other aspects of the person, and we are also embarrassed when we have a stain on our shirt, which is very visible, and we wonder whether people notice it all the time instead of something else. So, and they presented that humorously. The next spot that I'm going to share is from Travel Accident Commission in Melbourne, Australia, and the background to it is that drunk driving is common across the world, right? And even in India, during New Year's Eve, we see communication from the police or from the municipal authorities saying don't drink and drive. But it has become part of the background so much that it is almost like a Happy New Year greeting. Nobody takes it seriously. Even on highways, when there are signs saying that don't drink and drive, or speeding kills and all that, it has not worked what shall I say, hard enough to deter people to stop the habit. And here is what they did in Australia. Sorry.
it's a small part now. Yeah, well, that's the reason we're back against it, mate. I got my mysteries already. Hey, yeah, great. Cheers. What's he doing on the weekend? Somebody's going down the coast to do a fish. He's no way, mate. Stay in the team. He's having a rock trot now. He'll be fine. What are you going to do with those? I'm going. I haven't driven to the pub in years. Yeah. Bring the missus to pick me up. Bring her now. Call a cab? No, I'm just around the corner. Gotta go, mate. See ya. You up and in? Walking. Hey? Walking.
Where people that have a 5-cent cars
Stand on the back line. Take the hat off. Don't ask for cigarettes, you'll get them later.
Okay, cuffs off. Listen in, when you hear your name called, I want your date of birth. Paul Oakley.
10-7-71.
5 years with a 3-year minimum. Joe McGuinness.
768.
Sentence 12 months. Scott Shoebridge.
27-9-72.
Okay, whilst you're in this prison, if you have any concerns about your safety, see one of the staff members.
So the line and the execution, everything was something which was never seen before, and taking the problem head on. If you drink then drive, you're a bloody idiot is almost a rude statement to make. And the campaign went on for years, and it actually reduced traffic accidents due to drunk driving. On YouTube, you can see 20 years of TAC as a video, which is a compilation of fantastic such ads which actually deter people from drunk driving. Now, today, South Australia Police has taken that forward and even called people who knowingly drink and drive, sorry to use the word, in the baseline, they say, you're a prick. So that is the kind of hard-hitting language that shames people in, making a change in behavior that we talked about earlier. So if you were to extrapolate some of these into new media equivalents, print, lean forward information could be blogs, television, audiovisual impact, emotion, and lean back, it could be video across platforms and devices. Outdoor is visual impact, Instagram could be an equivalent. Radio is audio immersion, background companion, and podcast could be a new media equivalent. So what's new is not entirely new. Topical ads are now moment marketing. Celebrity advertising is influencer marketing. Advertorial, which typically look like the text in the newspaper article, is native advertising, which looks like a magazine article, etc. So there are some commonalities, but saying nothing has changed is also not true. There is living in denial. So what's changed in the new media world? And I have tried to put on some of the key changes that I have noticed. Time set it off all in 2002 by saying person of the year is you. You as in you and me, because we control the information age, and that is so true, and that set off the trend of marketers being wary of the fact that consumers have some control over the content that they see on the new media platforms. So the first change that we need to acknowledge is that there is tremendous media clutter, and that has resulted in continuous partial attention. So as we speak, in fact, right now, during the session, some of you may be actually looking at your Twitter feeds or Facebook timelines or LinkedIn timelines or WhatsApp and so on. So distraction and continuous partial attention is something that we all need to acknowledge, and that has an impact on our marketing communication. When you're scrolling through an Instagram feed, you're probably doing it for a few seconds. So you want to stop only when something really catches your attention. So is that going to be something from a brand? Then it has to work really hard to catch your attention. Second change is that the consumer has the power to ignore brand communications. Just because you've got a social media post put out, or a Twitter page or a Facebook page, does not mean that the consumer is ready and welcome to engage with you through conversations. That is not going to happen. Third change that I notice is that increasingly brands are doing things and not just talking about concepts in their advertising. They want to be of some value. So a BBDO is an agency, and they summarize it as acts, not just ads. Now, let me show some examples. This is an ad for EE, which is a mobile network in UK, and this is their way of communicating the 5G network that they have. Here is the video, Instagram video.
Almost there. Just keep going. Look at this. Oh. We're controlling that arm from here. This thing's gonna save me. Oh, yes, my friend. Kev, are you sure this is a good idea? Because I do need the space.
Relax. It's all connected to the EE network.
Keep still. So soft. When it counts, count on the UK's best network.
So the background is that the actor is somebody who played Lucifer, a popular streaming series, and Kevin Bacon, who's also a well-known actor. And a robotic arm is controlling the shave through somebody who's actually connected on the EE network to prove how stable or how fast, how reliable the network is. And an aware, cynical consumer does not believe all that a brand says. Today, we all have access to Google and other material on the web. So when a brand says that they are, let's say, we are a do-good brand, and somebody would do research and say that actually you guys, violated these rules in this particular country, so we don't really trust you, and so on and so forth. So they are very cynical about brand communication. So they don't always just go by what a brand says, like in the past. So brand has to do. And it involves things like this. When IBM had smart cities as their platform, they actually created utility value shelters like this. So in the rain, you could take cover in that, or it could be a place to sit and relax for a while after cycling, or to walk through your trolley over steps. So simple, smart ideas that reinforce smarter cities to prove that they walk the talk. Then Thank You Mom is a very popular campaign. I will just show one video of that. This is P&G paying tribute to mom, who's their key target audience. And instead of simply creating a 30-second ad, they actually did this.
At P&G, we know we don't know much about Olympic sports, but here's what we do know: moms. So when we went to the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games, it was to do one thing: acknowledge the important role moms play in the athletes' journeys, honoring them in a way that honored all moms.
As a mom, we want to celebrate the good things, and that's easy. The hard part is picking them up when things don't go so very well.
It's okay to fall. It's okay not to win. Do what you're doing right now the best that you can and enjoy it.
Eigenlijk is het niet toegestaan weer om over te ijs, maar zij heeft mij door dik en dun gesteund. Ja, dat was ook een stukje van de medaille wat was voor haar.
Long before the games began, we made athletes' moms an inescapable part of the Olympic conversation, with original content, interviews, and of course the athletes themselves, owning their backstories in a way no other sponsor could. In Sochi, we created the P&G Family Home, a home away from home to serve the athletes and their families, becoming a soundstage celebrating moms from all around the world.
I've never been in a place that is like this.
It's an environment where athletes can spend quality time with their loved ones.
146 million video views and 25 billion impressions globally across paid, owned, earned, and shared channels, all connecting to 17 of our biggest brands and becoming one of the most successful campaigns in P&G's 176-year history. It was just our way of saying, thank you, Mom.
So it takes commitment to actually spend money in, plane tickets for athletes' moms, carting them all to the actual Olympics event, putting up a stage instead of simply putting out an ad. So they actually did something to prove that they mean business. And, they complemented this with Facebook posts such as this, and moms of toddlers or, small kids could relate to such. Here's to moms whose trip to the bathroom is never a solo experience, fun posts like this. And it resulted in a $200 million incremental sales in the US for P&G. So this is one example of how brands actually doing things instead of simply saying things. And this concept of giving something to your audience without expecting anything in return has been around for quite some time. For example, in 1900, two brothers, Edouard and André Michelin, published a guide for French motorists so that they could get out on the roads and use their tires and therefore buy more tires. And that was called the Michelin Guide. And this was the ad that was around that time. And you must have all heard of the Michelin restaurants. That comes from there. People used to travel across Europe, use this guide to find new places, reach new places, and this became hugely popular. So this is content marketing back then. And in India, we've all seen Nestle's Milkmaid recipes, and they've been seen in Reader's Digest and other magazines and like Femina. And they were all value additions that the brand gave so that the consumer could use the brand, but feel good about the brand helping them out. This is an ad from 1955 from McGraw-Hill, where you have a stern-looking CEO saying that, I don't know who you are, I don't know your company, I don't know your company's product, I don't know what your company stands for, I don't know your company's customers, I don't know your company's record, I don't know your company's reputation. Now, what was it you wanted to sell me? So it conveyed to the companies that they need to advertise in these publications to know more about, to create awareness about their company. Therefore, corporate advertising became a thing. Now, in today's context, B2B content marketing relies on the same principles. Some of you may have heard of this brand called CB Insights, which provides extensive, very expensive research reports for large enterprises. For example, a big bank may want to know fintech trends in Europe or fintech trends in Asia, and it would be a several $1 million kind of engagement. But they give a lot of free reports like this for consumers like me who are not going to sign up ever for CB Insights. But in the hope that one among 1,000 or two among 1,000 would do, they give out these free content. B2B tech firms do this often to project a thought leadership stance. Some of you may have heard of HubSpot, which is a marketing automation platform. They are known to give away tons of free templates and articles and how to guides and so on and so forth, in the hope that one day when you're ready for marketing automation, you will consider HubSpot rather than some other platform. So this is adding value. The fourth observation is that cutting through clutter is more difficult. Your work is competing for attention not just from your competitors' ads. So some of you may be familiar with Danish Seth's work. He started off with producing a lot of these fun videos during lockdown, and then continued with brand associations. Now he does, he's a brand ambassador for RCB. Now he does work for ICC. I'll just play one video of his where it is a endorsement from Danish Seth in his style.
Bring me a glass of water. What the hell happened, Jaya? Don't worry, Jaya. You can drop some pani because you are a Maharani. Don't worry, Bhaiya. Don't be silly, Jaya. Yo, use this vacuum cleaner. Ye floor mere jaisa nahi didi. Ye floor wet. This is the new Black & Decker vacuum cleaner, Jaya. For dry and wet waste. Yeah, endorsements video did. How do you think I paid your salary, Jaya? Ye papi paid ka sawal did. Now log into the Black & Decker website and participate in the Danish puzzle and use that chance to win yourself a...
Right, you get the idea. I will not play the rest of the video. So for a brand like Black & Decker, they have used Danish's well-known format to create an endorsement, but the risk is that they'll have to accept whatever creative product that that celebrity comes up with. And some of it may not be on brand. There could be some colorful language or some other references which may not be on brand, but they take that risk because it is entertaining content. It is not in your face advertising. Having seen this, let me share this, which I came across on Instagram. Now, I'm not being disparaging. This is the brand that I have worked on when in advertising. But when you see the images that you see on Instagram of incredible India or some great photography, etc., and then when you see this, does it really stand out? Does it really blend in with the content that is out there? As good as the great photography that you see or the great visual experience that you have, on that platform, I doubt it. And when you see a slick video like what Danish has produced, and then you see this.
Oh my God, Raj, what is all this mess? Can't you clean up after your plate? I'm calling you here. बच्चे को बचाओ, बच्चे को बचाओ, बच्चे को बचाओ। कौन सा बच्चा? सरफेस बम से अपने अंदर का छुपा हुआ बच्चा बाहर लाओ। मेरा सेल्फी बाउंस, डू वी हैव मोर? इसने अपने अंदर की बच्ची को बचा लिया, थैंक्स टू सासी सासू एंड सेल्फी बाउंस। अंदर का बच्चा बाहर लाओ।
So they've tried to take that creative concept which worked in a TV ad perhaps, and try to bring that in on an Instagram format, Reels format. I don't know how successful they are, but this is an example of what we see on such platforms. And this has also resulted in advertising where I'm sure you all have seen this gentleman's videos of, Twada Kutta Tommy, Sada Kutta Kutta, which is a popular meme, and they've got him to endorse Pepsi. So Pepsi t-shirt, Pepsi ad, but in the context of a celebrity who's known for something else, which is a meme worthy. So I don't know whether these can become meme worthy, but these are ads on platforms like this. Technology to simplify processes and experiences has also become common, and I will play a quick video of that.
God, the thing I hate most out of everything on this planet are radio ads.
You could be the happiest human being in the world, jamming out to a great playlist. Oh no! Are you trying to listen to your playlist? You silly.
The #1 air freshener brand gave music streaming ads a fresh take. And instead of killing people's vibe, we hacked the system with music. Like really good music. So instead of this, they would listen to this. Instead of this. To offer users a truly undisrupted experience, 100 million songs were analyzed across the 3 largest music streaming platforms. All of this data was divided into 12 different musical trends. Then an AI coded the sonic DNA of each of these groupings to create 12 original scores that would seamlessly slip into every single person's playlist. People loved the fresh approach. No one is fresher than Febreze. 3 songs were played over 1 billion times, reaching more than 100 million people. Then artists started to sing about it spontaneously. Even Drake sang about it. Now that's refreshing. Morning, what's up?
Hi, I was wondering what song you just played.
Oh, that was actually a Febreze commercial.
Right. So even a boring brand can be made interesting with technology as long as it has relevance to the brand property and to the user. The sixth observation is that everything and everyone is under the microscope and up for criticism. Even this presentation, as we speak, you may write on Facebook or Twitter or share response on social media saying this sucks. I can't do much about it. So when Airtel puts out an ad which is really good and they've spent a lot of effort on that on YouTube, somebody may comment saying, "Why are you guys spending crores of money on this ad? Improve your network." So everything and everybody is up for criticism, including personalities. The seventh point is that geography is history, which means brand awareness and affinity can be result of an activity in any remote corner of the world. Yesterday, I was looking at a Volvo truck, EV truck from Europe, and because the trucks are silent, they were worried that when the trucks come by on the road, people may miss it, and the accidents could happen. So they actually added ambient noise onto the truck. So when the truck starts moving forward, there is a noise. When the truck is reversing, there is a noise. So and I am not going to be ever a buyer of a Volvo truck, but for me, innovations like this amplify the perception that Volvo is an innovative brand. So therefore, I may look at it, with a lot more positive attitude as a recruiter brand or as a brand that I should follow, so or admire. But the thing is that once you're on this always on creative treadmill, there is no getting off. So once you say that I want to create, for example, KFC could not use their tagline, finger licking good, during COVID times, because people had safety concerns and all that. So they actually, for fun's sake, asked other brands to whether they can borrow their slogans for some time, and just for fun. And so many brands joined in the UK. Marmite, which is known for love it or hate it baseline, said, yeah, why don't you guys use love it or hate it? And actually KFC created social media posts around that. This is something that we may not relate to, but apparently in the US, there was a lot of talk in media about aliens and UFOs and all that. As you can see on the left hand, on the right of the screen, New York Times wrote an article about how the US government found no evidence that aerial phenomena witnessed by Navy pilots in recent years were also alien spacecraft. Now, Oreo actually created a crop circle with the Oreo biscuit shape, etc., in Kansas state in the US, and that became viral on social media. They actually made a video around it, and the question that one might ask is, why would Oreo do that? What is the business impact of such an activity? For me, because it is a iconic brand, the shape is well known, etc., and in movies and series, we've seen that when aliens come visiting the Earth, they leave behind some mark like a crop circle, etc. They actually did that. Now, I will break here to show you the the Twitter feed of one moment. Twitter feed of Oreo. I'm sure you can see this here. So they actually created a video like this.
Hey man, look, it's glitching. Probably just some kids. I found it.
So as you can see, the plot is that the aliens were offered Oreo, and they have come and taken the Oreo which was kept in that freezer and vamoosed. So it is a fun take on what aliens do and how they love, and they also love Oreo, etc. And it appeals to an audience that they are talking to. But as I mentioned, once you're on this path, you'll have to keep doing it constantly. There is no getting back. Wilkinson Sword is a shaving brand, a competitor for Gillette, etc. And they do these topical ads, quite often. When the Biden Trump election results were hanging in midair for quite some time, they released a topical ad saying it doesn't get closer than this, and talking about the shave. And then when the COVID situation, lockdowns were eased and people were allowed to go out, it said time to show your face, because people didn't shave during lockdown periods. They had beards, etc. So the fun takes on news of the day. A car brand, iconic car brand, in UK, they simply changed their Twitter header image to say "Stay home," and the car is inside the garage. Hyundai said that car sharing, which is the pun on car sharing otherwise, saying is limited to kids playing with toy cars at home, and urging people to stay home. So those were communication that were relevant to the COVID times. So, but when brands try too hard and there is a force fit, it shows and we can feel it. Now, you've seen the ones that Fevicol did for the Ronaldo Coke thing. Do you all think that these two examples are as good? Yeah. So, I mean, you can feel that, they're also trying too hard to say that, look, we also have to make use of the moment marketing. Fevicol guys are doing that. Why can't we also do it? And, so there is an effort, and that effort shows. It is not easy. So, therefore, the biggest mantra is that in today's world, beyond just creating brand affinity, there has to be brand advocacy. Getting people to talk about your product or communication positively, whether it is share worthy, is important. And today, when an ad or a video comes as a WhatsApp forward, that it is hit the right target. And in that context, here are a couple of examples.
Slow down. इच्छाएं जो उबल रही उन संयम के ढक्कन से ढक ले Be strong. तुझे कुदरत कुछ सिखा रही है, इस कुदरत की इज्जत रख ले Slow down. तुझे के खातिर जीने में कितना मजा है, आज चख ले Be strong. अपनी नहीं तो देश की खातिर तेरा चरण कमल काबू में रख ले चरण कमल तेरे चरण कमल काबू में रख ले तेरे चरण कमल काबू में रख ले एक लंबी सांस को खींच के सोच ऐसा वक्त कभी न आया, एक अदृश्य से दुश्मन ने हम सबको इतना डराया। मुश्किल में है व्यापार, मंदा है कारोबार, वायरस सिस्टम में आया यूं के पास हुआ संसार। क्या इसमें कोई सबक छिपा है, तू हालात को जांच परख Slow down. तुझा मौका मिला है तुझको, इस मौके से आज सबक ले Be strong. और कठिन वक्त की खातिर अपने पैसों की कर ले बचत Slow down. हम सब सारे जुड़े हुए हैं, यही सच है, गांठ न रख ले Be strong. हाथ न छूना पर दिल को छू ले, ऐसी मिसाल तू सामने रख दे। तेरे चरण कमल काबू में रख ले चरण कमल तेरे चरण कमल काबू में रख ले तेरे चरण कमल काबू में रख ले चरण कमल।
There was a brilliant video linking to the bank and savings in the context of COVID, but the fallouts of the new advertising are these. Questions marketers ask is, my consumers are consuming several media across platforms. What's the harm if my brand is everywhere? But a brand can't be everywhere, can't be everything to everybody. In the context of earlier advertising, when if you had an IPO stock market launch, you would advertise in Economic Times or a business magazine, but the same consumer may be watching a family serial in the night, but the context was not right, so you would not advertise there. So why would some brand in the digital world want to be advertising in every platform? And there's always a pressure of always on advertising, trying to appropriate a brand link, relevant or not, to every occasion and news event of the day. And sometimes it does not work, as we saw in the case of a couple of examples. And without a strategic fit, a business need or relevance, then the over-reliance on creative firepower to break clutter is very high. Not always possible given the constraints of time and budget, and therefore we are relying on execution and luck. And I will, in that context, show my last example, which is a 3-minute film.
ओके स्कोर के एक टाइम था जब तू भागा चला आता था सुन के मेरी आहट, और मैं जिस कमरे में भी जाता हूं तो वहां से बाहर चला जाता हूं। मुझे बाहर धकेल देती है डर और रिस्पेक्ट की मिलावट, पर आप पहले की तरह रोक कर क्यों नहीं कहते कि आओ साथ में मैच देखें। डिलीवरी वाला नहीं, टैबलेट्स लो पहले। आराम से बोल रहा हूं, आराम से। दिखता है आपका गुस्सा छोटी सी भी गलती में, एक बस आपका प्यार ही नहीं दिखता। पहले तुझे डांटता हूं और फिर खुद को, ऐसा क्यों है कि प्यार दिखाया नहीं जाता और गुस्सा दबाया नहीं जाता। अरे बस यार, हाँ जब कुछ घंटों के लिए दूर हो रहा था तब क्लास तो छोड़ने आए थे, और अब जब सालों के लिए दूर हो रहा हूं तब भी आता अधूरा साथ।
यादों का गुल्लक टूटा जो लफ्ज मिले जज्बात को, यादों का गुल्लक टूटा जो लफ्ज मिले जज्बात को, खामोशी का पहरा हटा। बंद लिफाफा खुल गया, बंद लिफाफा। कुछ कहते नहीं है, जताते नहीं है, प्यार तो करते हैं पर दिखाते नहीं है। हेल्थ होके सेलिब्रेट करता है हर बाप बेटे के बीच इस टफ लव को। दिस फादर्स डे, टेक दैट टफ स्टेप टू एक्सप्रेस इट। हैप्पी फादर्स डे।
So that was a film that was lifted by great performances, especially Zakir Hussain, the actor who played the father, and general feeling that this also happens to me. But the link to the brand is tenuous, but execution, I think lifted the film. So which may not be possible for all the brands. So what's common to traditional advertising and the new advertising? The fundamentals are the same. Product which meets a genuine consumer need. We've all seen things like immunity boosting ice cream. No, do we even believe it? A communication idea which is based on a human insight, relevant insight, exploiting the medium to its advantage, a strong link between the message and the product, meeting a business need or objective, and relevant, entertaining, engaging content. So before we wind up, I'm asking Usher to share the feedback link, which will be shared in the chat window, I would imagine. Yeah, so while that happens, I will move to my last slide, which is basically hopefully the key takeaways. One, the fundamentals of marketing communication will remain the same even in the days of hashtags and Instagram stories. Appealing to the human instincts to be loved, recognized, take care of self and dear ones will continue to be enduring. Communication based on universal insights will be more relatable. Using a platform or medium to the brand's advantage is key. And above all, creativity is still the best edge for a brand against competition. And as Bill Bernbach once said, advertising is fundamentally persuasion, and persuasion happens to be not a science, but an art. Thank you. So I hope this session was useful. So I will stop sharing my screen, and yeah, we can take questions or.
Great. Thanks a lot, Lakshmi. That was indeed useful. I would say a Saturday afternoon used well. I hope the audience also feels the same, and please do share your feedback on the form, sir. Sorry, the audience again. And also questions. We don't see much question that has come through. We could have.
I see some Q&As. How do
okay.
you stay so updated? I mean, I read some relevant trade publications and permission marketing applications in this advertising. I'm assuming that by permission marketing, you're asking for consumers' permission to be contacted. Is that how you see it? Yeah, I would imagine that we're all familiar with newsletters, right? And when we have spam, when we sign up for something, like for example, I have signed up for AirMeet, and since then I have had 15 mails from AirMeet talking about their features and so on and so forth. Okay, sometimes it is an overkill, so then I get irritated. So then you unsubscribe. So that defeats the purpose of why they got my email ID in the first place. So one has to be careful about sharing relevant content with your audience. Okay, what else? Is there a new way to do insight mining, especially with more customer reviews accessible publicly for marketers across? Yes, customer mining is one. Reviews is one such platform. But typically in a marketing setup, there are formal ways, in-depth interviews with consumers, observing consumers at the shopping, venues like a mall or in a grocery store, visiting their homes if they permit. For example, qualitative research is about spending the day or a few days at the consumer, observing how they operate in the kitchen, what are the various things that they keep in the pantry, so on and so forth. So there are several ways to look at getting insights.
We got a few more that has come in. How to do social listening with so much of clutter around?
Yeah, it is difficult, and I don't think it is humanly possible to track every mention that is out there. Some of you may be familiar with NDTV anchor Nidhi Razdan, who said that she got entry into Harvard, and she spoke about it publicly for several months, and then later it was discovered that it was scam, and nobody from Harvard even noticed that senior anchor from India is claiming to have joined Harvard, and they didn't reach out to her and say, no, this is something that is fishy about it here. So it is impossible, but there are professional agencies who do scrape through content and pick up mentions and pick up not just brand mentions. For example, a brand like Sunsilk may be tracking what are people talking about when it comes to hair care or skincare and so on. So there are professional agencies who do that.
I believe there are tools as well, actually, that is sort of tracking brand mentions.
Yes. Any other questions? Otherwise, we could wind up.
What's your perspective on influencer marketing? Is it overrated? I'm assuming taking this actually as a new age advertising technique.
Yeah. Okay. My personal view is that I don't know whether you have seen the news of ASCII, which is Advertising Standards Council of India, saying that if it is a influencer marketing post, it must be mentioned so that it is a paid post or a promotional post and so on and so forth. I think it's a good thing in the digital world. A lot of consumers are exposed to the digital world through their mobile phones. Okay, they have not come from the old world of feature phones, web, and then mobile and so on. They're straight away coming onto smartphones, and they're seeing a Facebook post from somebody who's well known, let's say, and they're recommending a brand. They think it is a genuine recommendation. They don't know that the person has been paid to do so. Whereas in a celebrity advertising, I mean, they may know that Amitabh Bachchan is not going to actually use that banyan brand, okay, or he's not going to ride a bicycle, okay, to work. So they know it is an ad. But in the case of digital marketing, I think that blurring of lines is there, and it's a good thing that people have been asked to declare that it is a paid thing or a promotion.
Interesting. There's one last question we can take, I guess. Should B2B brands also do television advertising? Or rather, let me also add my, sort of input to it. Can B2B brands do advertising better today just because we have digital mediums that is far more cheaper?
Right. I would answer that by simply asking you to look at what SAP does on YouTube. Okay, it's a B2B brand. Even IBM is a B2B brand, and they've done some phenomenal work. In what is called traditional advertising. GE is another example where they've done some great work. And GE is not a brand that you and I are going to buy from the shelf, right? Large enterprises are going to sign up for GE, but they've done some fantastic work in in engaging advertising. So SAP, IBM, and GE are great examples in B2B. So please look them up.
Great. Probably just one answer, which I'm guessing and trying to consolidate here. Everybody is asking about the startup-based relevance within advertising today. I mean, is it something worthy enough for new ventures also to, take that leap of faith and do more aggressive advertising promotions around?
Well, again, as the answer to most marketing question, the answer is depends. Because, if you have the funds, obviously you can burn. Somebody mentioned the cred, and they have the funds, and a lot of startups are not really chasing profits. They are looking at signing up lots and lots of users, and that becomes their valuation, what should I say, edge. And they can afford to do that. But many startups, bootstrapped, are not going to have the kind of funds to burn on traditional marketing. They have to be smart enough. They have to first have the product which is good or a service which is needed, and then use smart things like good organic content. A great example of that would be Ixigo, IXIGO, where they use a lot of inexpensive videos, all created in-house, and they've all gone viral. Okay, and they've not used any big agency to create such work, and you could look up them for inspiration.
Got it. Interesting. Right? Great. I hope that's the best we could take, guys. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Lakshmi, for your time again. I hope
thank you everyone for your time, and
was as engaged as myself. Great.
Thank you.
We will be putting this video on YouTube, guys. You follow us actually across YouTube. Do visit our website, which I had sent as a link again earlier. I'm just going to just share it once more, just in case if you had missed it out. Follow us for more of Masterclass session that's coming your way.
Right.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Everyone.
Have a great weekend, all of you. Bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye.
Take care.